Alright, Zach, time to get back to main progress. Alright. So...
Who knows where the legendary winds will take us?
Jesus.
Don't you see, Shiroi? Remember, Shiroi, this... Go ahead.
Who's bashing their piano with a hammer?
Remember, Shiroi.
Cat?
Remember, Shiroi, this town hides a dark secret, so obviously the game wants to make sure that you stay on your toes.
Pedro, that's a lamppost. You normally want to avoid those while driving.
True, but the cars are so resistant that I'm just very careless when I drive in this game.
The lamppost was in my way.
Yeah, that lamppost shouldn't put itself in my way. Yeah.
Driving in video games.
Oh look, another red tree.
This town is chock full of them.
It's just autumn. Don't worry about it.
But it's just that one tree. Yeah, every other tree doesn't look like that.
It's a slow process, guys. Come on.
Well, with Pedro's driving, it's going to be slow because he'll keep bumping into everything because apparently the road doesn't exist.
I think the road is broken. So.
Well, I mean, the fact that he's driving on the left side already suggests trouble.
Well, I mean, actually, Pedro, what side of the road do you guys drive on over there?
The right side.
It's here in Britain we drive on the left.
Yeah.
In Japan.
Yeah.
Yes,
so I'm guessing it was harder for the developers of this game to program driving on the to get you to having to drive on the right.
Well, actually, they did succeed. Normally, when you're on the road, the right side is the correct one you should use. So yeah, they did capture that American culture part. Yeah.
I'd expect nothing less.
Well, hey, if I ever go on a long holiday to Japan and need a car, it won't be that difficult for me to get used to the road since I drive.
Yeah, good luck learning. If you don't know Japanese drives, good luck learning. The actual road signals.
But yeah, as you guys have seen, I've managed to get almost all of the bones. There is one more here that's behind this fence, so we're gonna try and get it.
Well, of course you'll find bones in a cemetery.
Yeah, well, I think there was an anime about. I think there was an anime a couple of years ago that was about this woman who was who investigated deaths, and apparently she has a huge fetish for bones.
Use the force, York.
It's a little TV series called Bones. Yes, I actually remember.
No, I meant there's this anime called Beautiful Bones.
Bet you guys didn't know that York is a Jedi.
Of course.
Yeah.
Honestly, that makes way too much sense.
Okay, and I guess in order to access this area, you have to, there you go, push the statue.
Hey, look at that! A place filled with red trees and red seeds. Huh.
Hmm.
In a place concerning death.
It's not important, don't worry about it. I'm sure it's not important.
Yeah, never go anywhere.
Yeah, Zach, why was I interrupted just then?
I think the player interrupted you.
Yeah, we already saw that scene because every time you get one of the 5 bones, it's always the exact same cutscene. So there's no point in just watching it over and over. So I just skipped it. All right. Oh god, the collision detection failed. All right.
Well, crap.
Okay, never mind. There you go. See, walking backwards fixes it.
James, what was that spell in the first Harry Potter video game that you need to launch on statues? Like Happy Force or something?
Happy Force.
Yeah, something like that.
That one, yeah. Sorry, every time a Harry Potter spell is mentioned, I have to say it dramatically.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be funny if you could drive through the cemetery? Considering all the other things you can drive through.
That's rude.
Very rude.
Indeed. Alright, so that's one more bone caught, but we will not be able to complete the side quest involving the bones until later, so we'll get back to this.
So which do you prefer in this game more, guns or melee weapons?
Well, guns, they're overall more useful because I don't have to get near the zombies. So
fucking like zombies.
Combine
TK you in this.
Combined with the fact that if you can get weapons that have infinite ammo, it becomes a lot easier that way if you just use the gun.
Why are you getting money just for driving?
No, actually, Jova, it's kind of hard to see because they're small, but I'm catching the smaller $5 Agent Honor medals as I'm going, so they're just a bit hard to see. Oh, never mind, I forgot. Yeah, one more bone that we have to get. Yeah, I forgot about this one. All right, one more.
Wow, the places you can drive in this game.
Yeah. The developers
This
were
is totally safe.
Well, there's nobody else around, so I guess technically I'm not a danger to others, only to myself.
But what if you crash and some parts of your car end up going on the road? That could be a danger.
And yeah, the other bone is in a bird's nest for some reason. So, but that's okay. I hit the tree and
the tree with the lightsaber.
What kind of
the hip bone?
What kind of bird brings a human hip bone to its nest?
A vulture.
Oh, I'm trying to think. But vultures are not typical to this area, Joe. I mean, we don't do nests just on trees. Like if it was like a scavenger or a predator, like say an eagle potentially or a falcon. Yes, the problem is that they don't do traditional nests like say a nightingale.
Anyway,
or robin.
Now that that's
why
done,
I said a vulture would be the kind of bird to do it. But yeah, like you mentioned, they're not really typical in this kind of area.
But yeah, now that that's done, time for a whole new slew of main story missions.
Yay.
Yay! We're getting back to the main quest.
Alright. Let's see. There you go. See, as you can see, it's the right side is the one that's the correct one, as you can see.
Right's always right?
No.
Wrong.
Yes, it
You're
is.
wrong, exactly.
For the majority of the world, it is. Of course, Britain doesn't like to play along with the rest of the world.
Well, you're all wrong then.
Of course, it's not me who's wrong. Everyone else is.
So that's the motto behind Brexit. Okay, good.
So too, looking forward to see how the Greenvale Hospital operates.
I mean, it's supposed to be a quiet little town with no traffic accidents and all that jazz. So I'm not sure how much clientele is there.
Well, let's see.
Just eating biscuits.
Anyway, Emily and George has already arrived, and they're about to greet us. So, Greenville General Hospital.
Oh, suddenly it sounds like we're in a fantasy.
Watch my directing, Jesus.
Agent Morgan, have you no respect for rules and protocol? We were waiting for you, and now you try to go in by yourself.
Oh, George.
I'm shouting even though my voice actor doesn't get the ammo.
Just watch it from now on.
I love that animation that characters use where they do where they do that thing with the hand that York just did. Like, what the hell is that?
Calm down, George.
I guess a half shrug.
His way here and rushed in. Right, Agent York? Let's go inside then.
Looks like Emily is thankful for our help with the cooking, so she's standing up for us.
Hello, Sheriff.
Frankly, Fiona. Hospital she's literally called the hospital receptionist, so I've just assumed that that's basically what she does.
Ushah. Do you know where he is?
I think Dr. Johnson is in the computer room.
Oh, you know what that means, guys? We've got to find the computer room!
Nice to meet you, Mr. FBI agent. The computer room
It just doesn't work unless it says it with the exact inflection.
I'm FBI Special Agent Francis York Morgan. How did you know I was FBI?
Easy. None of the police in this town wear cologne.
Oh.
Sick burn, Georgie.
Rumors get exaggerated as they spread.
Some say he got that scar from a duel with the devil. I heard he got that scar while hunting down Jaws.
Liar's House. That's a book she's reading.
You haven't heard of this yet? It's a recent bestseller mystery. It's set in the U.S. A small traditional North American town close to the Canadian border. A peaceful, traditional place. However,
Park?
that peaceful town is shattered by a terrible
South Park isn't peaceful.
murder of a local
No,
girl.
if there's one thing,
Yay.
South Park is not as peaceful.
Shiro, nothing happened in the quiet little town.
Teo, the N64 South Park game literally starts with the narrator going, "A quiet little town full of decent and uptight folk," and then the other narrator goes, "Yeah, right." So
But yeah, Jova, if you may catch us, she basically told the synopsis for Twin Peaks, so because again, the game knows what it is and what it wanted to be.
yeah,
And by extension, the synopsis of this game.
Pretty much.
Thank you, Agent.
And I'm okay with that.
okay. So Fiona, what have you got for us aside from main story stuff? Jova, why not?
Dr. Johnson should be in the computer room.
Actually,
Thank you.
Actually, don't worry, Fiona. I can check on him later.
Oh.
Well, actually, no. Never mind. I'm switching. Jova's gonna have to be Dr. Johnson, so I'm gonna change. I'm gonna give Fiona's role to Dwebs instead.
Sunny in the morning, but cloud at noon. That should turn into rain by the evening. Hi, kid.
Okay.
Doesn't the weather
All right,
always-
so let's explore the hospital and see if we can find Dr. Johnson.
One thing I've always wondered is why are hospitals always located so far out of town?
Well, Shiroi, Teo, do you have an answer for that? I've always assumed it's because it wouldn't really be very convenient for it to be in the middle of a freaking city, maybe.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
I'd argue it's the opposite for it to be literally
really
several
can-
miles outside of town.
I really can speak for everything, Shirei, because, for example, in my
Hold on,
country,
Teo.
hospitals sometimes are in the middle of town.
Fiona needs to check her information.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Does the doctor like playing games by me?
all right, I forgot
What
this.
do you mean?
Is he a gambling man?
What do you mean?
As she stares near the giant poster with a game on it.
King passes the rook in special.
Knight takes a pawn along for the queen.
What does that all mean?
It's a simple puzzle. Zach, let's take him up on his challenge. You can do this, right?
You're not Professor Layton.
Don't worry.
Don't do this.
Oh, okay, so the puzzle is King passes rook and meets bishop. Knight takes a pawn to the queen. So, yeah, basically. So what does this mean exactly? You're probably what? I mean, wait. I'm just picking pieces. How do I do the? What that means is you're just supposed to put the pieces in the order that the sentence is in, as in first king, then rook, then bishop, then knight, then pawn, then queen. This puzzle, this puzzle makes no goddamn sense, but whatever. Let's just.
Oh boy, here's the answer to there's the culprit.
Check.
Curb Kunpukwa.
Okay. I can sort of see what they're going for.
York.
The doctor
Stop smiling.
Another code?
I sort of get the idea.
Please
It's like,
know where
well,
to
it's a
insert a
chess
password.
maneuver, one that's meant to end in checkmate.
I'm going to get Fiona to call Ushah up here right now.
No need, George. The message appeared with the card key. It's telling us where to use it.
I would wonder
This is
why
not
this
our
doctor
time
is
to
so
joke around.
cryptic in telling us where he is, but I guess he
Dr.
has
Ushah is
some
low.
decent reason to lead us on a wild goose chase.
He doesn't, Joe, but he's just playing games with us, like York said.
So no one in this town is sane. Okay.
He's just having fun. He's out here all alone most
Then
of the
it's
time, I
to
think.
meet the
He's
mischievous
bored.
lunatic in
Yeah.
this little game.
Shira's not really. Shira's pretty much got it actually. So that's pretty much it.
You
Card
can't
keep running
throw the
with a
ground
heart
floor.
on it.
Get it? Because it's a hospital card. Hey George, how's your feelings on all this whole situation?
Who's
We
George?
need Anna's autopsy result, hopefully updated. And you were saying Ushah is in the basement, right?
Okay, Emily, what are your thoughts on all this?
Alright.
Dr. Johnson is in the basement. Remember, Dribs, I'm Emily. Right?
I'm the nurse, sorry.
Fiona.
Let's go and see him.
Don't worry, Dwebs. Fiona has her own side quest, so
Yep.
you'll be able to play her later.
Okay. Hey, no running in the halls!
Time is of the
only.
essence.
All right, so let's explore the hospital. Maybe we can find a place to use this card. Yeah, I think Teo was correct. Yeah, this hospital must not get that much clientele. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be all that much movement around here.
I mean, it's a good thing, to be honest. You know, it means that less people are sick or have accidents.
Yeah.
And adults.
But no, to answer Shiro's question before, it really depends, I guess, on geographical location and how the regulation with the state are in. Because, for example, in my country, hospitals are pretty much are both on the outskirts of city, but some of them are actually in the middle of the city. You know, it really depends. But if I had to hazard a guess for like the more quiet places like this one, it would be to avoid the potential contagion in order to, you know, keep a potential isolated area in worst cases.
Possible.
Yeah, that's actually pretty possible. Yeah. Anyway.
Boop. That's the sound effect of one magical object spawning. Swearing. This is not Spyro. This is deadly premonition.
But Mr. Matteo, I really enjoyed those sound effects, so I thought they would be cool to use in my game.
Deadly premonition.
That's like the hold on. Yeah.
All right, and here's Ushah Johnson, the coroner.
Ushah, sorry to keep you waiting.
Ah, you made it. Let's get started, shall we?
Let's carry out the autopsy.
Yay.
Oh, get it?
Yours.
Get it? Because it's like Usher.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ushah Johnson, the doctor in this hospital.
Wait, you're the only doctor?
Apparently.
Please call me York.
It's like in New Mutants lives where they only have one doctor in the entire
Well, to
facility.
be fair, there's a good reason for that.
I know.
Are you a forensic practitioner?
Let's just say I've dealt with corpses before.
What do you mean by dealt with?
Did you
Well,
create that yourself?
he probably has to manage the morgue as well.
FBI agent could handle the task.
Ooh, George is getting upset.
That was pretty fun. Yeah.
Why are the camera angles to be diagonal?
I can't help
Hey, look at that, guys. We get to autopsy the body ourselves.
We need
Yay.
those autopsy results.
Especially because the doctor, I have to say it, you know, Regiment number 1. Unfortunately, that chain that you had on your neck should
hold on.
not be there. Sorry.
Obstructing an investigation. You've angered the monarch.
Yeah,
Ooh.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, the monarch with a horseshoe on his face.
All right, so
Rigor mortis,
go ahead, doctor.
the
Please
stiffening
explain.
of the muscles.
Yeah.
The time of death is estimated to be between 20 and 2200 hours. That's still quite early for such a crime to take place. Note that there are 2 exterior wounds, pressure marks around the neck, and a long cut running from chest to abdomen. Blood marks on her right hand tell us she was gripping something round in her right hand.
So maybe she was trying to act in self-defense?
Probably. Very good, Lips.
Skull is also fractured, but that is unrelated to the cause of death. It probably happened to her after she was killed.
Interesting.
Now, I first thought death by suffocation due to the marks on her neck. But after further investigation, I now have a different conclusion.
Which is?
The direct cause of death was loss of blood from the wound.
So she died over time.
That must have been horrible.
So the killer wanted her to suffer
She
potentially.
was cut up while she was still alive.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes, a sharp knife was used. It was inserted beneath the sternum and then quickly sliced downwards. The excessive loss of blood from her internal organs is what actually killed her.
Wait a minute. If she was gripping something herself, nah, it couldn't have been suicide.
No, I can tell you it's not suicide, Joe.
She didn't commit Sudoku, Joe.
She was apparently killed without resistance.
Wait,
I know
killed
what he
without
said.
Yeah.
hold on, killed without resistance, so maybe it had to do with that cult she was in.
Unable to speak her story to anyone who could hear her cry.
I guess we'll have to figure it out.
Unless she did it willingly. Well, I mean, had it done willingly.
Emily's a bit distraught by all this.
So,
Cut out Hannah's tongue.
oh, how do you know York?
Let's just say Theo, he's seen this kind of thing before, as we're about to see.
Now, the killer most likely has a deep, traumatized past concerning women.
His mommy didn't love him.
Not converse with them normally. Cutting out the tongue suggests a very lonely individual.
Or just a sicko.
Exactly.
There goes Roma.
You and Ushah are on the same page, it seems.
He must get off on watching women suffer, especially when they can't answer back. Now, he watched as the blood pumped from her body, as she gradually grew cold. A case in Seattle in 1985 was much like...
Ushah, please, limit your report to your findings as a doctor. Criminal profiling is my job.
Huh.
True,
And
yeah.
the reason you stopped him there, York.
You're wrong. Also.
Even the theme music stopped for that.
That's the thing, he's wrong, as he's about to demonstrate.
Fully
Yeah.
aware of what was happening to her.
But,
Oh.
Tell me, what time did it stop raining on the night Anna was killed?
Why, do you think the heavy rain killer had something to do with this?
He was called Shelby.
So, around 1 a.m.
What movie was it?
An American Werewolf in London.
Classic.
Directed by John Landis, 1981.
Yes.
So the rain stopped, accompanied by the ending song, Blue Moon. George, would you mind if I examined Anna myself?
What more do you hope to find?
I'm sure I mentioned that.
Gloves?
Interest in cases like these.
Sorry, Joe. Apparently, Swear thinks people just put their hands into bodies like that. remember, the doctor. Oh, hold on.
His age isn't immediately apparent, though he can't. It's York speaking. Though he can't be that old. Looks like a trustworthy doctor.
Oh.
Remember, Joe. Dr. Ushah is having that chain around his neck, which, by rules of hospital, he could not have because it's not hygienic.
We shouldn't stare at her for too long. Still no hint of a smile. There's no reason we should focus our efforts on George, though. So yeah. All right. Let's see. So yeah, right now we're basically in this attorney style section where we're just supposed to just look at the various things and examine shit. Again, that's basically what the main focus of this game was supposed to be all along, but shit happens. The tongue has been removed. Look at the edge of the stump. Beautiful blonde hair. Stunning, even in death. Alright, let's see what else. She's neatly wearing fake fingernails.
Blah.
Yeah, I'm with Job on that one. Anna's body is lying on the table.
That's a astute observation.
Look at that. Judging from the impressions, she was holding something in her hand, but it was removed around 6 hours after death. The object was circular with a relief shaped like a peace mark.
Like a baton.
Or a hippie sign.
All right, let's see let's see York's ultimate conclusion about all this.
From her lack of resistance, I'd say that Anna's injuries happened very quickly. Unable to speak, she was then left to cry herself to death. Zach, it's all starting to come together. The perpetrator
For you.
stayed with her for at least 2 hours until it stopped raining. At the estimated time of her death, it was still raining, but you can still see tear marks on her cheeks. That means she was killed under a roof somewhere. She was then carried into the woods after it stopped raining.
And then put on that tree.
There's one other thing. Her tongue was removed with a very blunt knife. In fact, it's more likely it was simply chopped off.
Ushah, Are you a passionate man?
What does that have to do with anything?
I have no idea.
George, how about you?
I'm very passionate. Yes. Especially when it comes to women. But I don't see what that has to do with anything.
There you go. See, George agrees with you, Dibs.
George, the perpetrator, is just like you. He's passionate about women.
You're the perpetrator.
You did it.
Well, Dibs, as York himself is about to say, he's as much of a suspect as any other passionate man on Earth.
So they implying that the perpetrator bit off her O.
There you go. Very good, Jova.
That's
We'll never get a dental print from a wound like this. But this is still a big lead.
So,
Someone
as you
really had it out for her.
as you can probably guess, York has a very strong suspicion about what truly caused this. Let's see.
Ace got the proper sound effect.
And a red seed.
Shame, but our old-time all-American sightseeing tour just came to an end. This case is now under the jurisdiction of the FBI. I'm assuming command.
Oh.
I'll need you to assist me in the investigation.
He's about to explain why.
Can he do that?
He can, actually. Remember, like Jova said, the FBI trumps authority over normal police. So
it was actually built for this purpose.
Command, George. You're a suspect just as much as every other
exactly.
man on Earth. Let me show you something.
There you go. As you can remember, the red seeds we saw in the beginning opening cutscene where we introduced York. There you go. York has been investigating cases about killed women with red seeds in their bodies. There you go. This is the case of his life. For years, he's been searching for the red seed killer.
It's like an American Jack the Ripper.
There you go. Amazing, huh? I'm sure you have a lot of questions, but most of the details are top secret.
I can imagine, yeah.
Confidential. That's the right term.
Well, FBI, so yeah, I can imagine.
We should be going.
Oh boy.
No need to stay here any longer.
Remember at the beginning?
Wow.
Remember at the beginning when George? Why is the FBI so interested in a case like this? Well, let's just say it's a personal interest in killers of young women, and now we know why. He was
Suddenly things just went from 1 to 11.
Yeah, it's also you can also tell that
his rook takes your queen, then your knight takes rook, and checkmate.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Doctor.
No, York just solved the thing for him. There you go.
My first victory in the Grandmaster ranking.
You're supposed to work.
He has nothing to work on.
But
all right,
I want to go to this hospital.
You can also tell.
York, you can't smoke in hospitals, York.
York, the red tree pretty much is ashamed of you smoking in the hospital.
See, you've angered the ghost of no smoking in hospitals.
Uh-oh.
What an oddly specific ghost.
But yeah, you could tell that moment was supposed to, be the game telling, okay, now we're taking this seriously for a second, just to explain this.
Okay.
Again, it's one of those things where, don't get me wrong, like the game is not trying to be a full-out comedy. Like, it has comedy in it, as we've seen, but it's also trying to be a genuine horror mystery story. But anyway, and there you go. That's your first clue. That's your first clue to where exactly are we every time one of these sections happens.
Is that Anna?
Yeah, that was Anna's ghost. Yes.
Ooh.
So, and this place is also called the Other World officially, Jova. So you can basically gather that it's basically supposed to be the world of the dead.
She was literally Sephiroth skipping.
Mm-hmm.
Horror element in a hospital.
I can't speak for the second game, but the first game never flat out, give us a fully detailed explanation of about this. Because remember, this particular part of the world was kind of forced by the publisher to be put in.
Wait,
so
I already seen this in a stream that Pedro did, and yeah, you can tell this was tagged on because you can remove this sequence entirely, at least, and the point from when York exits the autopsy room and the one where he gets to the entrance of the hospital, that could change nothing. This is just there for the sake of having a combat section.
As Ignition Entertainment demanded. Yes, Libs, you were going to say something?
How did we go from all the stuff we've been doing before to suddenly fighting zombies with lightsabers?
because there you go. That's what happens to the zombies. They put their hand in your mouth and take out your health. There you go.
Oh no! How terrifying!
You see, Dwebs. I have to hone my Jedi training.
I would,
You're not a Jedi.
Then how do you explain that I have a lightsaber? Then how do you explain that I have a lightsaber?
I don't know. It's high.
Okay. As much as, it is cool that we get all this combat and stuff here and there, but I'm the one who thinks that maybe this isn't the most scary that it could be.
Well, that's pretty much goes without saying, Jova. Yeah, like the zombies going. Yeah, that's not really gonna. It's again, it's not even honestly. I can tell Jova that the primary big appeal of the story is not even the horror aspect. Yeah, the horror aspect is there, but honestly, I would argue it's more so the character and the characters and the big plot twists that happen involving the characters specifically that are more the big draw to me. Not so much the horror aspect, because the horror aspect, yeah, as you can see, it's not exactly. This is no Silent Hill, so.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, they could make these actually more scary here and there. It's just. I don't know, the designs aren't exactly the most scary, and the fact that the place is completely well lit up doesn't really do the horror that much a favor.
Nah,
I guess
not really.
Maybe if you're playing this in like your 10, this will scare you or something.
I'm typically not a horror game guy, so this actually serves me just fine. But yeah, I can. But at the same time, it does. I mean, the fact that this game was clearly made to be an Ace Attorney style game rather than a shooter doesn't help either. And look at that! All the zombies love to limbo. So
yeah, what is up with that? Also,
yeah. So what next? The zombie that loves to do the hey Macarena.
Well, to be fair, Joe, I'll still take this over zombies with machine guns in Resident Evil 6.
Oh god.
Well, zombies with machine guns sounds kind of awesome, but I'm guessing Resident Evil.
Well,
to do it.
My problem with that is that when you put a machine gun in a zombie's hands and he just shoots like any other mook, then he's not really a zombie anymore, is he? I mean.
Okay. To be fair,
shooting randomly everywhere.
Yes,
okay. To be fair, giving zombies weapons that kind of worked in Resident Evil 3. But in Resident Evil 6, not so much. Now, when I say it worked in Resident Evil 3, that was Nemesis, though.
Yeah, and even then it's Nemesis, so...
Yeah, Nemesis is a tyrant, he's a more smarter kind of zombie, so it makes sense. The idea of Resident Evil 6 was that your typical form of zombies are known as these Javiers, essentially, made from the C virus here. They're zombies that can retain their intelligence and whatnot. It was an interesting idea. The problem is, it ended up making the game more like Call of Duty in some places than, actually feeling like a Resident Evil game.
And in Resident Evil 6, basically they turned Chris's campaign into a poor, watered-down Gears of War. Basically, it's not even it's not even Resident Evil at that point. Ooh,
not just that.
He was crying.
They turned Chris's character in general, the worst. Ever since his supposed rivalry with Wesker has ended after Resident Evil 5, Chris's character has gone through a downward spiral. They try to milk the shit out of his story arc where he has PTSD over the loss of his quads over time. And he supposedly never recovered. And right now we're about to see him in 8, where they try to paint him as a bad guy when he totally isn't.
Okay, I guess to be fair, if Resident Evil Vendetta is anything to go off of, he did get over his PTSD.
Sorta, and it took a long time, and we even needed a face-off against Leon that we totally didn't need it.
That's the thing, Tio. They gave Leon Chris's Resident Evil 6 development in Resident Evil Vendetta.
Pretty much. Leon is basically it's become the new fan favorite of a protagonist, of a Resident Evil protagonist.
I'd say that Chris is still the face, though. God, I hope that they aren't planning to kill him off.
Jova, in general, the original group of protagonists of Resident Evil now has evolved to a point where they almost are recognizable. You know, Chris has become like that, like I mentioned. Jill has passed a lot of things.
So yeah,
she's a bit better.
So yeah, it's a good thing that the outer world has a resting spot where we can save, and you know,
whoever runs this place is still very, you know, considerate.
Consider
So
the player.
So is the idea that all the zombies you're facing was that supposed to be scary?
No, I remember you moved it accidentally.
No, it's because you can actually move objects, and that's what happened there. It's actually not meant to be.
Also, Jove, it depends on the type. We are in fiction because zombies have been more like an abstract concept, because there are usually two types of zombie current of thinking. You know, currents of thinking. The ones that are actually resurrected by, you know, religious or magic purposes and thus are, you know, mystic by nature, or the ones where they try to do the scientific route, which are the more common and have like a parasite or a virus injected into them. You know?
Of course. So, question: are there any context to the zombies in this game? Like, are they people who died in this particular area or whatnot?
Like I said, Jova, the explanation about these segments is minimal. Because you can tell that Square didn't put these against his will, so I didn't even bother with too much with them.
Anna, you should stop frolicking like that, please.
Here, over here.
No, thank you. And there she goes.
Okay.
Anna's a troll. She was trolling you.
Actually, that's a good question. Like, who voices Anna?
Anna never actually gets any speaking lines too. It's just a generic laughter.
Someone had to voice her.
Yeah.
Let me check just to be sure.
And to be fair, didn't she literally just say, here, over here?
Okay then, never
It
mind.
could have just been somebody on the team recording those lines, like.
Probably Melissa Hutchison, since she recorded most of the female voices in this game.
Maybe it was the janitor, like with Dragon Slayer. Because it was the janitor who voices Princess What's Her Name.
Yes, it's Melissa Hutchison.
There you go then. Alright, let's use the computer to open up the MRI.
So,
the MRI machine.
Take that side, please.
So I wonder, what?
No, it's fine.
Could you imagine, Dwebs, if Princeton Plainsboro was assaulted by these zombies?
I wouldn't be out of place in Series 7, I know that much.
Oh, look at that, there's a card key in the MRI machine.
Which would magnetize it and make it unusable, but I guess where he hasn't studied much of it.
Well, to be fair, Teo, the machine is turned off right now anyway. So
okay, so it's like the implication that this is all just a hallucination of Yorick's, or that he's sucked into the sun.
No. I can. It may seem like that at first, Joe, but I can tell that later on there's going to be confirmation that it's not just York hallucinating. But again, like I told you, this is actually one of the lesser parts. You have to understand that, again, Swery didn't seem to really want to connect this too much because he himself very begrudgingly put these in.
Much as I do understand that, unfortunately, since this game was billed as, a horror suspense game, the horror should be better. Okay, let me put it like this. One of the small bits, but still an important bit of horror, is maintaining good context as to why things are the way they are. Now, I don't mean blatantly explain every single little thing, but, give some context here. Like, for example, Resident Evil. More often than not, some viruses spread out, so you're trapped with all these zombies who want to eat you. Okay, fair, fine enough. The fact that we don't really get any context here just leaves us more confused and scared.
No, that's definitely that's the lesser part of this game. Definitely the horror aspect. The horror aspect is clearly done in a way that feels very okay. Let's just get. That's why Swear gives us Guns Infinite Ammo, and why I recommend playing on easy mode. Because you can tell Swear just wants us to plow through these and then get back to the actual game he wants you to play.
In that case, though, what's even the point of holding your breath if you know you have weapons with infinite ammo?
Well, that's because, Jova, you have to actually get these. The reason I have these already is because I'm using a hacked save file. I'm basically I'm basically making my job as easy as possible so I can plow through these sections as quickly as possible to get back to the game that Swery actually wants me to play.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We only have to kill 2 more zombies and we should be fine. I think. Oh, did I already kill all of them? I think I'm. Oh, there.
No, there's one missing at least.
Dun, 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 dun.
Does that zombie have a shotgun in his right hand?
Yes, he does.
That's the title of a spoof horror movie of a
I will give it this.
Zombie with a shotgun.
I will give it this. It's much like Jova was saying. That it's much more like Nemesis rather than Resident Evil 6. And they still move slowly, like all zombie-like and stuff like that. So
yeah, like. True. Oh.
All right, and we're done.
York looks just as surprised as we were by this segment.
Agent Morgan, if you're so desperate.
There you go, Java. We could have just cut away to these and we should be fine.
Yeah, basically.
Did you guys not see that earlier?
That's the thing, Webs. You'll see later on.
Oh, no, this guy.
Now here's a new character, Harry Stewart.
Oh,
and his
Professor X with a face mask.
From which Metal Gear you come from?
Who's that old man?
It's very New York.
That's Harry Stewart. One of the bigger problems around here. His father started up the lumber trade and founded this town.
Oh boy.
He's the guy who's still in the beginning? No, he's not.
No.
Never speaking
No,
to the
no, he's
townsfolk.
not.
And just
I think you're far away from us, or something. You sound very far.
Not that
Later, after part's over, Pedro.
He won't be getting away with any funny business.
Harry Stewart, mysterious capitalist.
Of course, he whispers everything.
Yeah,
what his attendant says.
Haste won't lead you to what you seek. Keep your eyes focused on your footing as we speak.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
Wait, guy in wheelchair.
Michael
He looks
Teal
like he's
Watson.
bald. He's wearing a mask, and his last name is
Nice to meet you,
Stewart.
Yes.
Actually, no, he's not bald, but
But yes, Jova, that's the gimmick. The attendant always speaks in rhyme to what he's being reported
Mr.
to.
Francis York Morgan, information desires you, just as you desire information too. So says Mr. Stewart.
Harry, stop trying to get in our way. Keep this up, and even you'll have to answer to the law.
Hold on.
It looks like he's talking to his shoulder than his ear.
Mr. Francis York Morgan, with each rain our town goes mad. To our disdain, unpreventable. So sad. So says Mr. Stewart.
Thanks for the warning.
Then we shall depart, Mr. Francis York Morgan.
Okay,
You're such a great help.
you're welcome.
That was nowhere close to what I was going to say to them, you imbecile. You twisted my words.
Don't have any involvement whatsoever.
That's how he always is. Always spouting that nonsense. Don't
But
get it
maybe
wrong.
there's a
It's all
secret
gibberish.
meaning to it all.
Nah, Jova is clearly just a poor guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, a rich guy in a wheelchair.
Hold on,
but I
Thomas.
digress.
Looks like Thomas has any news. Some
Agent
news.
York, we've contacted the first witnesses to the crime scene.
After everything that just happened, we're gonna have this theme play.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, right now we're in a comedy relief scene, Shirai.
Yes.
This isn't the comedy theme, though.
Well, the story thinks it is, so it is. Anyway, all right. We're going to, in the next part, we're going to interview the first witnesses of the crime, aka those little twin boys that we saw at the beginning. So.
Oh, Zach and Cody, neat.
Their actual names are Isaac and Isaiah, but yeah, sure.
They might as well be that.
All right. Tune in next time, everybody, for the horror misadventures of Zach and Cody.
See you then.
See ya.